Hi, Candace.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm John. Okay, so I feel like a lot of your arguments today are very rooted in a sort of old school perspective. I have to be honest. Like, I think, and I'm not trying to be insulting whatsoever, I feel as though most people would identify that claim as pretty extreme and pretty like.
Children are extreme.
Well, no, that women would get more happiness inherently from raising kids than having a job or deciding what they want to do with their lives.
Why is that? I'm just curious. Why would having children, which is just a natural biological conclusion, be something that sounds extreme?
I just said inherently.
Well, inherent.
That's the inherent
extreme.
expectation.
Yeah.
That's better for
It's inherent because it's biological. So I think when we think about things that are inherent, I think biology is a good thing to start with, right? So biologically speaking, men and women come together, they form families, and that's the reason why you're sitting here. That's the reason that I'm sitting here is because biology is inherent.
Well,
So
I was
saying it's just natural order that we're speaking about, right?
Okay, let's break it down. So why do you believe that? Why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that?
Why do you inherently are happier? Yeah.
You keep stressing this word inherent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it speaks to natural order, and every piece of life, I think, is enriched by
You
children.
don't think it's natural for women to get to decide what they want to do with their lives?
I do not think that saying women can decide whether or not they want to go to work or have children is problematic. What I'm saying to you is that women will get the most fulfillment from having a family.
Because it's natural.
It's natural, but also children are wonderful and beautiful and spiritually divine creatures. I mean, they're amazing. There's everything about having a child. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's beautiful.
I hear that. Well,
Yeah.
okay. What if there's a little girl born and it's her dream her entire life to be an author or to be, on TV or any of these things, and having children is very expensive. It takes a lot of time. So how is it better for that? Like, and I understand this is hypothetical, but that hypothetical little girl to have children than to pursue these things that would make her happy as she gets.
I just think that what if she publishes the book and she has a child, she would agree with me that the child was more fulfilling and made her happy. That's what I'm happier than the book did, is what I'm saying. And I say this as a published author of the New York Times. I would choose my children over my best-selling book. And I was that little girl who had a dream that, like, oh, it would be really great if I could share my thoughts and ideas in a book. But it is utter insanity for me to reflect on that and say that I would have rather published Blackout than to have my 3 children.
Well, why is it rather? You see what I'm saying?
It's not rather. I'm just saying
That's your claim. That's your claim, is that it's better.
It will be more fulfilled. Yes.
Right. So rather.
Well, if it's an either or, if you're saying it's either or, I'm just saying that if these two things have happened in your life, the thing that will bring you more spiritual fulfillment will be children. And so women who are neglecting that, who are neglecting the pathway to, strive toward family because they think their career is going to hug them at night, or they think that when they're on their deathbed, their career is going to come up next to them and say, you were so great to me. I think that they've stepped into a delusion, and I'm hopeful that they wake up from it before it's too late.
All right, pause.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely. I totally agree with Candy, on this. Some people don't know that, having kids, is actually a beautiful thing. This is something that I've actually, been dreaming, of having. But until maybe probably you neglect it, and then later on you go to realize that, oh, you have actually made a mistake because you decide to prioritize certain things, other than that, then you kind of feel some kind of, regret. And then you kind of feel that, oh, you wish that you could have done it, this way. And then others, got depressed, in the process of trying to say that, okay, now how do I get a life pattern? And then now that becomes, a more problem, for them. I've seen, so many people, actually going through this, in my community. But nevertheless, let's continue with this video.
Okay, so
She looks
currently,
familiar.
women make up about 47% of the workforce. If this were the case and that women were just inherently unhappy or unfulfilled working and would just prefer to be at home, why don't they?
Because we've made that, due to prior feminist waves, nearly impossible, because now, which I believe the reason that the government wanted women to enter the workforce is because it gave them an opportunity to tax a household twice. And so this goes back to what I was saying, is that there's a lot of financial pressure that is being exerted on young women to enter the workforce, and they do so blindly under this illusion that somehow entering the workforce is going to make you more fulfilled, like getting yourself into 6 figures of debt, going to college to then take on a career and be in debt and having to pay student loans while you make 35K is going to make you happier. And I'm saying that isn't actually true.
Okay, so I hear that. Yeah. At the same time, would you not agree that that women can both have a career and have children? I mean, you are actively doing that
Right
now.
And I want to be very clear because I am actively doing it right now. I would be someone that you would call an exception because I get to work from home. I get to wake up in the morning. I don't have a boss, right? I don't have to go into the office from 9 to 5. I get to then therefore spend the entire morning with my
So
children.
you're an exception, and the 47% of women that make up our labor force are also an exception?
No, the exact opposite. So I'm trying to make it more realistic because I think
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
it's really bad form when people who are able to stay at home, right, and are able to start working at, 1:00 p.m. as I do after being around their children, the children are running around all day, will then preach to you that every woman can have this. That's not the reality. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of people are stuck behind a desk all day and they're not happy. They're not doing work that gratifies them at all. And at the same time, they're suspending
Well, that's
their
just what career you've chosen, but I think that the issue with
you work a 9 to 5. I think that's
okay, yes, but
right?
it's the job that is making them unhappy, then maybe they should have chosen a different career path and not the structure of the career itself. But my issue with this is that not only is it claiming that women can't both be mothers and have jobs, which we know to be true because millions of women do that. My mother does that. You are actively doing it right now. But it also is qualifying what every single woman in this country wants without any clear evidence. I mean, there's 169 million women in this country. How can you say that you know exactly what every woman secretly wants? Are you
I didn't. That wasn't my claim that I secretly know
She
what
never
every
said
single
so.
woman wants. I'm saying that if you measure up at the end of your life, what brought you more fulfillment, your career or a child, children, raising children in your family, we will discover that, and there actually have been studies, people that have gone to people on their deathbeds, and the number one regret that people have was that they gave too much to their careers. And this includes men, by the way.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, of course, human relation is going to be valued over money and profit.
So then
but at the same time, what does that
agree with my argument?
I
Yeah, you're agreeing with my
Yes,
argument.
humans prefer humans over a job, but that's not just singular to women. That's everyone. And my question is, what does that even have to?
Right.
What is the goal of that? Should every woman quit working and just have a child?
Well, I'm just trying to warn you that if you decide to suspend that pursuit of family because you think that you have to first climb the ladder, a lot of women make that mistake and they don't end up finding a
But
partner.
that's their right. It's free will.
You definitely have a right to make
You don't
a
get to
mistake.
say what people should and shouldn't do.
I don't think my claim is this is what people should or should not do. I'm just simply stating that my claim is that you will be more fulfilled if you focus on.
You don't need to
trying
decide what other
family.
people are fulfilled by.
Okay, I'm making my claim here that women are infinitely more fulfilled in the household and raising children than they are taking that 9 to 5 job.
But you have no evidence of that. In fact, you are evidence against your own claim.
I'm not evidencing against my own claim.
You are.
I'm saying that
You're at work right now.
I've literally said, I am telling you, women cannot have it all. That is an illusion, and that is an illusion that is stressing women out. And I think it is the reason why so many women are turning to popping pills, why there's been such a significant, more than 1,000% increase.
But
since
men can have it all.
1999.
Men can be fathers and have a job, but women can't do that.
I don't think you can have it all.
It sounds like you're devaluing women. I think that women can do everything that
sounds
men
like
can
women
do, and men have done this historically throughout time and memoriam.
I think women is our debate topic today. So
we're not even exist in a society with men. We are completely
women are trying to be both women and men, and that is why women are unhappy today, is because actually what's quite ironic about the feminist movement is that
women are just trying to be people.
I think women have been taught that being a woman is not enough and that you have to also aspire to be a man. And that's the irony. It's like a psychological conditioning. What feminists went out and did and said is that in order for women to have value, women need to be like men. And I'm saying is actually women and men are biologically different. There are differences in our behavior. There are differences in our desires. And I think evidence of the feminist movement, by the way, shows us that, because even when women enter into the college education space, the pathways of career that we choose are different from men because we're biologically different, right?
Okay, so let's say that this is true, that women truly are more fulfilled at home. Now, the average cost of raising a child a year is around $21,000 or more. So my issue is, are you saying that women should just suddenly stop working and now the onus is entirely on men? Like, the society that you're pitching is not sustainable economically.
And I think it was sustained economically.
But it's not right now. Currently.
That's a very tough one. Well, if she listened to Candice very well, Candice specifically says that she's an exception, which means that she don't work in a sense for anyone, or neither in a sense she's a boss of herself. That's why she's saying that in a sense she wake up in the morning, she take care of the kid, they do so it makes her feel more fulfilled. In the other word, having children makes Candice in a sense happy. That's what in a sense Candice in a sense is saying in the video. But then I don't know how in a sense she tends to understand in a sense what Candice in a sense is saying, and then misinterpreting things and saying all sort of things, and then thinking that Candice is now, how does Candice knows that this is how in a sense other women feels and all that. Candice is not speaking for other women, she's just speaking in a sense for herself, that people should prioritize, you understand, having children, okay, because it's gonna make them feel more fulfilled, you understand, when they are getting older, right? And not basically for them, you understand, to keep going for their career, you understand, and then neglect that, then later, you understand, they could end up, you understand, regretting it, and it's not applicable to all. Even though she's saying it in a sense based on economical, I mean the lady in a sense arguing with Candice that okay, if women stay at home and then all those things, like the pressure is gonna be on men, but it's about what? Happiness and fulfilled. So let's continue.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Ceci. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So your claims that women will be happier at home. I think you're conflating though happiness with importance, because I get what you're saying, where a woman can write a book and have kids, but the kids are always going to make her happier. But I think it just means that kids are always going to be more important, not necessarily make you happier. But also piggybacking on Naima, we don't live in an economy where people typically can have a one-income household,
Right.
whether it be the mom or dad that stays home. And so I think, and you keep bringing up the 1950s, which
This was right before the fact.
I just don't know if that's the period of time that you want to go back to.
I'm just going back to the
Because
first wave of feminism.
you want to undo progress that's been done. So I'm curious as to what decade you'd be comfortable living in, especially as a Black woman.
Okay, so we're gonna park aside the race politics. So then I want to focus on.
Okay, then as a woman, what period of time do you want to go back to?
Just as a woman, I think that it was probably a better environment for women when we understood that raising our children was fulfilling.
But some women still do understand that.
Right.
A lot of women, and I'm one of them. And I'm here advocating for you
Okay.
to be able to live the life that you want, and for other women to be able to live the lives they want.
Do you have children?
No.
Okay, you have a career, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you work? What field do you work in?
I do hair.
Okay, wonderful. So I have both children and a career, as somebody pointed out. And so the fact that I'm saying that you will be infinitely more fulfilled at the end of the day by raising your children than you will be if you come home and you say, wow, I really crushed it dyeing somebody's hair today. What is it exactly that makes you angry about hearing that? That's what I'm actually trying. I'm trying to get to the implicit
That's the
revolution.
thing, is that no one
When
is
someone mentions
angry.
children.
No, see, no one's angry when you mention children. I get angry, I guess, when you mention that someone should have a children, or you're trying to impose a lifestyle onto people that you want to live, which I think is kind of funny, because as someone who's anti-feminism, you practice it more than most women do. I mean, every time you get on your podcast, every time you collect a check, you're practicing feminism.
Okay, that's what you think.
No, that's what it is.
Actually,
Because without feminism, you wouldn't be able to exist.
Yes, people keep saying, I hate when people say that.
But this is
Because
just the
it
truth.
just shows that you haven't done the research to even understand where the
Or you don't know history.
which was discoverable. That's what I'm saying about you, because it means that you don't understand that a bunch of government officials in the CIA funded the feminist movement. So for all of your hatred for the
I'm so
patriarchy
confused.
and
So my
speaking out
question
men,
is it bad that they funded it, or bad that it just happened?
men wanted women to go into the workforce. The government, which had a lot of men, it was being.
Are you talking about because World War II occurred and we had to go to factories, and then when we left the factories, they forced us back into the homes?
That's not what I'm saying at all. So let me tell you what I'm saying, and then you can respond to it.
Oh, for it.
Gloria Steinem is considered to be a feminist icon, right?
Mhm.
Because she led these protests. She also had a bunch of music festivals. She got students involved. It is just a fact that Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA. Okay. The CIA, being the male-dominated CIA of the 50s and the 60s, funded those movements. So what do you think was the explicit aim? Do you think it was because the government really wanted you to be more free?
that they wanted to encourage women to enter.
Well, actually, I'm with you. I couldn't speak on behalf of the government. Okay. You know what I mean, and what their intention.
I think it's important because you just said that I don't know history, and I think it's pretty important if you're going to sit across from me and say I don't know history, that you learn a piece of history and then question.
You keep bringing up men, and I think it's fine because we should talk about men more. Like you brought up suicide, they're 4 times more likely to kill themselves.
Which is why.
And while women, we're twice as more often on antidepressants, but that's because we go out and do what we need to keep coping.
If we're not happy.
And we need to focus on men and the patriarchy because it's actually oppressed them just as much as women now emotionally, right? Because when we're kids, our parents teach us how to cross the street. Look both ways, you can get the other side unharmed. When a boy comes across a feeling, and I'm using men and boys here because they're the ones suffering, women are too, but emotionally. When they come across a feeling they haven't felt before, we have to teach them how to get to the other side and cope with it. Otherwise, they stay where they are. That anger and resentment builds. That's the feeling they become most comfortable with. That's the feeling they go to first in most situations. All right, we need to stop telling our boys that they don't cry, because they do. They just do it alone, and then they become even more alone.
Now, Candace is trying to inform her about history, how this feminism, was founded by the CIA and how it was funded for her to understand the intention behind it. Now, she don't want to listen to the intention, and then now she is saying that they should not talk about the history. Like, do you see the confusion, in her? But anyway, let's continue. It's getting interesting, though.
All right. Nice to meet you. Okay, so you say that women are more fulfilled at home with kids than going out into the workforce or getting educated, but that just really doesn't bear out when you look at the stats, when you look at how working mothers are way less likely to be in poverty. Maternal education is the #1 predictor of childhood outcomes, better scores, getting higher incomes in the future, fewer behavioral problems, better mental health. So it's weird to me and college-educated women are least likely to get divorced, and they're the only women, the top 10% of women are the only women whose marriage rates are going up. So they're getting married, they're staying married, and their kids are doing better. When you look at stay-at-home mothers, you see that they're more likely to report being depressed, they're more likely to report having anxiety and anger and all these types of things. So how can you say that? Seems like a woman, if you want to get married and have kids, you should go to college and have a career.
So it sounds to me like we are looking at totally different statistics because everything what you said, I've actually read the exact opposite.
I'm glad we're on a fact check show with you.
Right, exactly.
Oh, it's so exciting.
That's going to be amazing. Okay, because I know, like I said, I think what we're talking about is that there was this widespread report on female happiness, and I know that it was formally debunked.
That's not what I'm talking about. Pew Research,
Right.
University of California. In fact, working mothers today spend more time with their children than women did in the 1960s that were at home.
Okay, well, women that are at home are obviously spending more time with their children than the people who are at work.
And their children are not faring off any better, and they're faring off worse.
How are you measuring their children faring off worse?
How likely they are to higher incomes, better scores, fewer health problems, fewer behavioral issues, and better mental.
So the just to get back to the claim that I'm making here is that it is obvious that women who have children are going to be more fulfilled.
How is
right?
that obvious? Because you said
No, it's not obvious because I said so. It's because when you look at all the statistics in terms of women who are choosing not to have families, they are, as the person who just sat here before you mentioned, they are suffering from more depression, they're suffering from more anxiety. And
that's not true.
Okay, it is true. It is actually true that women who are choosing their careers over starting families are finding themselves leaning more onto medicines like Xanax, anxiety-inducing medicines, and depression because they suspended that time frame where women really should be looking to find a partner and to start a family because they were instead pursuing their careers.
Why are
It is a dishonest, it's totally a dishonest narrative that men and women want the same things out of life. We don't. We absolutely do not want the same things out of life. In fact, we don't even measure success the same. Men and women don't even measure success the same.
So,
Okay?
but tell me how the women who are working and getting educated, why are they faring off better in all of these?
I am telling you that I do not believe they are faring off better in all of these measures.
Because of what?
I am telling you that we are looking at totally opposite statistics. Like, so you're sitting here telling me that the statistics show that women who are working are producing better children, and I am saying that women that grow up in a two-family home where the mother stays at home are faring off better than the children who are being raised in an environment
Where the women are
parents,
working?
where both of the parents are
Why don't
working
you
away
stay
from the home. I do get to work from home.
No.
That's the irony. That's why I said
So you talk about all the nannies you hire, and it's so
I
hard
actually
to find a good
never
nanny.
talked about all of the nannies I hired.
Yeah,
but
you have.
I spoke about how difficult it was to find a babysitter who knew how to cook a meal, and that's because
you don't need a babysitter. You can retire right
now
now.
that people respond to you when they're speaking.
You don't want to.
to respond to you. When
No, you don't want to. You want to be working, which is great.
You're telling me what I want now and then accusing me of telling you.
Wait, you don't want to work?
Can you just let me finish? Because you've said so many words that what you're trying to do here, like your argument style, is I'm going to say so much and not let her get a word in and then walk away and feel like I've won. We're not having a conversation because you've now letting me respond to one of your points. Okay? What I am saying to you, first to answer what you just said, which was a lie, what I spoke to you about on the weekends is that it's been increasingly difficult to find a 25-year-old who even knows how to make boxed macaroni and cheese, right? And that's crazy. That is in large part due to feminism. Women don't even focus. Like there's this idea that women shouldn't be cooking. Like there's something fundamentally wrong with women even learning how to cook.
Are you
know
spending as much time with your children as you possibly can? Because that's the way to get the most fulfillment.
No, and that's what I'm trying to say. I am speaking to you
and stop.
Okay, could you please let somebody get in?
I did.
You actually have not let anybody finish. Like I said, it's no one benefits when you're just speaking over me and not allowing me to respond. All you're proving is that you have an attitude and you believe in feminism, but you're not. That's what I'm saying. You just have an attitude, and it's not
trying to.
It's performative.
I'm actually my point. I will be quiet if you address my point.
Does anybody actually feel here that I am being allowed to address any of her points when she just running down me? Like I'm literally trying to answer your first point of you saying that I don't stay at home.
Yeah,
fair point. Fair point. Obviously, I get that you're all anti-Candace and pro-feminist, but also it's not productive if you're not actually.
Okay, address the point. You spend more time saying that I'm not addressing that you don't have a chance to talk. I mean, the whole time you could have addressed the point.
Okay.
You could have talked.
I
go for it.
Just want to keep interjecting somebody who wants to actually have a conversation. So to get back to the claim, because I don't even know where you're at. You're not talking. You're saying that I said something.
I'll go wherever you want.
I never said.
I'll go where.
So do you want to start with me working at home? Because I work at home. You just said something about me working
You travel all around the world.
Okay,
you do speeches, and I love that. I love how ambitious you are. That's a really great trait. And if you were truly said that, you would be more fulfilled. Now, one thing you do find is women, they don't want to stay at home when you pull them. They just want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions like you have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other. But when you sit here and you go, you'll be more fulfilled doing this, and spend all your time doing that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Okay.
Oh. Wow. Like, do you watch her, you understand, keep interjecting? She want to make a point. You ask a question. She want to explain, you understand, about the fulfillment, about you talking about her being at home and not working and all those things before you know it. You bring another thing and you talk about in other women and you don't allow her to understand to make the point. Now you are saying that she should quit so that, you understand, she can go focus, you understand, on what that makes her more fulfilled, which is what? Having kids. I think that all these things that she is saying, it could be from the angle of maybe she's just depressed. Probably. Maybe if you look at it in a sense, probably she's not married. So she don't understand, you understand, what it takes, you understand, to raise a kid. You get the point, yeah. And that's why, you understand, she decides to say whatever she is saying. Keep on interjecting here and there without actually making a point. Anyway, let's continue.